there is something you are still holding. You know what it is. You have known for a while. Maybe it is an old hurt, something someone did years ago that you have turned over so many times it has worn smooth in your hands. Maybe it is a version of your life you had imagined and then lost. Maybe it is a relationship that ended or changed in ways you didn't choose. Maybe it is a version of yourself you keep mourning, the person you thought you would be by now. You have been told, probably, that you need to let it go. And I think that advice, as true as it is also deeply unhelpful on its own. Because no one tells you how. No one tells you what letting go actually feels like from the inside, what it requires, what you lose when you do it. Hi, friends. Welcome back to English with Moon. Tonight, let's talk about the art of letting go. First, I want to say something that I think gets missed. Holding on is not weakness. We hold on for real reasons, good reasons even. We hold on to anger because the anger made sense, because something happened that should not have happened, and the anger was our way of saying, this was wrong. I deserved better. And while we hold it, while we carry it, there is a kind of justice in it, a refusal to pretend that the pain didn't matter. We hold on to grief because the thing we are grieving was real. It mattered. And letting go can feel like saying it didn't matter, like erasing it, like the act of releasing is somehow a betrayal of the thing that was loved. We hold on to old versions of ourselves because we spent years becoming that person. And to admit that version is over is to admit a loss we are not sure we are ready for. We hold on to expectations, the ones we had for a relationship, for a career, for a version of our life that we had mapped out clearly, and then watched unfold into something entirely different. We hold on because the imagined version still feels like the right one, and acknowledging that it is not coming requires a kind of surrender we have been putting off. And we hold on because sometimes holding on is all we know how to do. We have never been taught to release. No one showed us how. And so we grip and grip and grip, long past the point where gripping serves us, because the alternative, opening the hand, is too unfamiliar to feel safe. Holding on is the way we honor what was real. But here is what I want you to consider. You can honor something without carrying it. You can acknowledge that a pain was real without letting it take up permanent residence inside you. You can grieve something and still, gently, gradually, in your own time, release your grip on it. That is what letting go actually is. Not forgetting, not denying, not pretending it didn't happen. It is choosing to carry it differently. I want to tell you about a man named Thomas. Thomas had been hurt by a business partner many years before. The partner had taken credit for Thomas's work, manipulated a situation, in a way that cost Thomas a significant opportunity, and then walked away without what Thomas felt was an adequate apology or acknowledgement. It was a genuine wrong. I am not minimizing it, but 10 years later, Thomas still thought about it almost every day. He replayed the events. He constructed arguments in his mind, things he wished he had said, things the partner should have said. He told the story to new people in his life. He sometimes caught himself feeling the same burn of anger he had felt a decade ago, as fresh as the day it happened. The business partner had moved on. He was living his life, unaware of how much space he still occupied in Thomas's mind. Thomas said to me once, "I know I should let it go, but every time I try, it feels like he wins, like I'm giving him something." This is one of the most common fears around letting go. That releasing something means conceding, that the anger, the hurt, the holding on is the only thing keeping the injustice visible. But holding on was not hurting the person who hurt Thomas. It was only hurting Thomas. I want to say something clearly. Letting go is not the same as forgiving, and forgiving is not the same as excusing. You can let go of something without ever speaking to the person who hurt you, without ever saying it's okay when it was not okay, without ever pretending the wound didn't happen. Letting go is not a gift you give to the person who hurt you. It is a gift you give to yourself. It is the decision made quietly, privately, not for anyone else's benefit, to stop paying the rent on a room in your mind to someone or something that has taken enough from you already. It is not, "I am okay with what happened." It is, "I am no longer willing to let what happened define what is possible for me now." That is a very different thing. Letting go does not happen in one moment. I wish I could tell you there is a ritual, a conversation, a decision you make once, and then it is done. But that is not how it works. Letting go happens the way the tide goes out. Slowly, incompletely for a while, then more. Then there are moments when it comes back in and you think, "I haven't let go at all. I am back at the beginning." But you are not. The water level is lower than it was. The grip is a little looser. You are not back at the beginning. You are somewhere in the long, non-linear process of release. And this is important to understand, because many of us give up on letting go precisely at the moments when the tide comes back in. We decide the process isn't working. We decide that we will never be free of the thing we are holding. But a wave returning is not the same as the tide coming back. It is just a wave. The overall pattern is still moving in one direction, toward release, toward loosening, toward the long, gradual opening of the hand. Trust the tide, not the waves. The thing you are holding is still real. But you are beginning slowly, in small moments, to place it down, pick it up a little less often, to choose, in some moments, not to replay the story, not to give the thought your full attention every time it arrives. Thomas eventually made a small decision. He decided that he would allow himself to think about the business partner one time per day if he needed to, but only once, for 5 minutes, and then he would redirect his attention. It sounds small, but it changed things, not because the anger went away, but because he had introduced a choice into something that had felt compulsive. He had made himself the author again, rather than the passenger. And slowly, very slowly, the 5 minutes became less necessary. Here is what I want you to know about the other side of letting go. There is more space there than you expect. When we hold something tightly for a long time, we forget how much room it takes, how much of our attention, our energy, our emotional bandwidth gets organized around it, how many conversations get filtered through it, how many new experiences get measured against it. When you begin to release it, even a little, there is suddenly more room. Not emptiness, room for things that have been waiting, for relationships that deserve more of you, for new possibilities that couldn't fit while you were holding so tightly to what was. The moon does not hold onto its light at the end of the night. It releases it. And in the dark that follows, something else becomes visible. The stars that were always there, just hidden by the brightness. What has been hidden in you by the thing you are holding. There is something important I have not said yet. Letting go is not only a relief, it is also a loss. When you release something you have been holding, even something that has been hurting you, you lose something real, the version of yourself that held it, the story you have been telling, which had you in a certain role, the energy that was organized around it that will now need to find somewhere else to go. Letting go means grieving, and that grief is legitimate. It is not weakness, and it is not a sign that you should not be letting go. It is the natural cost of a real release. Thomas, when he finally began to loosen his grip on the anger, when he spent less and less time replaying the events, visiting the grievance, feeding the story, he went through a period of unexpected sadness. He said, "I thought I would feel free, and I did a little, but I also felt this strange grief, like I had lost a companion, a bad companion, one that had cost me a great deal, but still something I had been with for a very long time." That is honest. That is what letting go sometimes actually feels like. Underneath the relief, grieve it. Let the grief be real. The anger mattered. The hurt mattered. The years of carrying it mattered. And now you are choosing something different, not because what you felt was wrong, but because you are ready for a different kind of life. Hold both things, the relief of releasing and the grief of what it cost you to hold so long. Both are true, Both deserve space. And I want to say one more thing about Thomas. Because his story did not end with the 5-minute practice. It ended, or rather, it opened, with something he did not expect. Once the anger began to loosen, once he was no longer spending so much of his inner life replaying the grievance, he found he had more room. Not for the business partner, for other things. He started to notice a friendship he had been neglecting. A friend from early in his career who he had always liked and somehow lost track of. He reached out. They began talking again. He started to notice the parts of his own career that he had stopped seeing because so much of his attention had been organized around the injustice. Things he had built, skills he had developed, a reputation that was real and that belonged to him, regardless of what had been taken. He said, "I think I had been so busy being wronged that I had stopped noticing what was right." The space that opened when he let go was not empty. It was full of things that had been there all along, quietly waiting for him to come back to them. That is what the other side of letting go holds. Not nothing, not forgetting. Your life, more of it, more fully, more yours, waiting on the other side of whatever you have been holding. I want to say something to you directly. Dear friend, I know what you are carrying. I don't know the details, but I know the weight. That particular heaviness of something you haven't been able to put down yet. The way it comes with you into rooms. The way it surfaces at unexpected moments. The way it has become such a familiar part of how you move through the world that you have almost forgotten it isn't supposed to be there. I want to say something. You don't have to let it go all at once. You don't have to perform a dramatic release or arrive at a feeling of peace about it before the peace is real. You can begin small. Begin by noticing when you pick it up. Begin by asking, do I need to carry this right now? Or can I put it down just for this hour? Begin by saying to yourself, what happened was real, and I am also more than what happened, because you are. The hurt was real, the loss was real, the anger was justified, and you are a person with a whole future in front of you. And that future deserves more of your attention than the past does. Letting go is not a betrayal of what you went through. It is the final act of taking your life back. You are allowed to do that with so much care. Moon. 3 things before we part. Holding on is not weakness. We hold on for real reasons. But holding on has a cost. And at some point, the cost is higher than what we gain from staying close to the pain. Letting go is not forgetting. It is not excusing. It is not giving anyone a victory. It is a private decision made for yourself, not for them. To stop paying the rent on something that has cost you enough. And letting go happens slowly. Not in a moment. Not permanently. It is a practice, not a destination. And every time you choose, even briefly, even partially, to put the thing down, you are doing it. You are practicing release. Thank you for spending this hour with me tonight. This is English with Moon, and I am grateful, as always, that you chose to slow down and be here. If tonight's episode touched something in you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Is there something you are still practicing putting down? Tell me in the comments. I read everyone. And come back next time. Until then, practice putting it down, even for a moment, and see what is waiting in the space that opens. Good night, friends.